Okay, we are live.
Okay,
Hello, Mr. Femi. How you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm okay. I'm good. Thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate.
You're welcome. Always welcome.
Should I say up Gunners first or up Ateta?
None of the above.
Really?
None of the above. They are stressing me. They are stressing my life.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, one of the things I actually want to ask you is, let me start from Arsenal in particular. Something happened in my life. I kind of have a disconnection between my and football and myself. I love football really. I will go in the night to watch El Clasico then and La Liga. I used to show
Mhm.
in the night. But I just stopped recently and then later I got back. But I find myself watching football and then connecting it back to my career and my my life, watching Pogba and then I was just thinking,
Mhm.
oh, if this person can do this in their career, I'll just be linking it back to my
To
everyday life.
yourself.
I don't know if yeah, the way you are passionate about Arsenal and football, I don't know if something like that happens to you, what are the things you see in football that you think you relate
I,
back to your life and marketing generally?
I think for me, I would not say my passion about football has anything to do with marketing. Okay, let me give you the background gist here. I never anything marketing, anything school, anything career. I kind of never wanted to do it at some point when I was growing up. I really wanted to play football. I would skip school and go for. I had this academy where I literally was part of. So I would skip school, go to academy, do whatever I want to do, play those games, and come home late at night. They will ask me at home, she school no she want she lesson, those kind of conversations. And I'll tell them that it's my teacher that delayed me. Oh, meanwhile, I literally skipped school so I could go to the academy to play. Then unfortunately for me, I picked up a very nasty injury, like
Oh
a
my
very very nasty one. So that was when I knew that what, it's gone. And then my father was now like, I must never see you close to anywhere football is being played. But before
mm,
then, I usually stay at home, watch football and stuff like that. Yeah, but I was never passionate about watching as much as I was passionate about playing. You get it. So later in the university, I stumbled on marketing, and the funniest thing was it was not even marketing I literally wanted to do. I wanted to do something around software engineering and the likes, but
okay.
I wanted to study computer science, but literally, I just wanted to go to school for certificates. But I wanted to go to a software school to go and learn everything about software engineering. Yeah, and it didn't materialize. My father is big on normal, conventional academics and the likes. Go to
Academy.
school, do your BSc, do your masters, do your PhD. That's the kind of family where I'm from, and I just went to school. Fortunately for me, I was not given computer science. I was told I'll study agriculture. And
Wow.
as a young boy then I was like, Hakim, where for Greek shit now? See, like I was literally you get it. I was literally not interested in agriculture, but I was just going to school for going to school purposes. Even though I kind of later fell in love with what I was studying, but it wasn't literally what I wanted to do. So way back from my 200 level, I found out about marketing research. Started off as a content writer for lazywriter.com. Then started evolving into digital strategy. At some point, collaborated with some of my guys to do something around tech summits. um I also collaborated, and when I was in Abeokuta, I was coming to Lagos for a couple of campaigns and the likes, and I was also a student. And then we built summer fiesta for what summer fiesta is no longer in existence anymore, but because the founder literally has another vision. But we literally built summer fiesta way back from Abeokuta. From Abeokuta, did summer fiesta campaign, zero Lagos influencer. Everybody that I knew as at that point in time was in Abeokuta. And when we came for the event, I've never seen that kind of turnout for any event. It was I knew we took a
And
space that
you're
could
still in school
take.
that time.
Yes, I was in school. We took a space that could take like 3,000, close to 1,000 folks, but we had attendance of over 3,000. No, it was a free event. So that was how we started the event, Summer Fiesta. The first edition was just to, lay our hands on something and test it and see if we have, a very good event that can take over Lagos. Second edition was super great. We did second edition at Muri Park, all the way from Abeokuta. I had to come from
So,
Abeokuta to come and manage everything that had to do with summer fiesta form. And the career just it just kept on going like that. And over the
like
years,
that.
I think I'm grateful. Sometimes I think I'm lucky, but I know that I put in so much work into the craft too, and because my career has actually been so smooth. The very first official after school, graduates and everything, the first thing I kind of laid my hand upon, or the first brand I worked on, was an international brand, and that was Cantu Beauty West Africa. I've not done anything, beauty and fashion for global brands, not even for a local brand, but I was given the task to grow, the presence of an international brand launching. They were just coming to West Africa. They've been in South Africa
Wow.
and they were just coming to West Africa, and that was the first project I literally handled. Did some Cantu Beauty West Africa, delivered on it, handled Philips Consulting. Philips Consulting is like the biggest indigenous, consulting firm we have in Nigeria, that is owned by a Nigerian. Even though we know that the likes of PwC, Deloitte, and the likes are quite bigger, but when you're talking about Nigerian-owned, consulting firm, you would literally look at Philips Consulting first. And I worked on Philips Consulting. I worked on Philips Consulting micro courses. I This was like my very first year, like as a graduate. And funny,
Marketing.
funny,
Like,
funniest funniest thing was I also worked on a campaign for Nigeria Football Federation as at that time. I collaborated with Abib. I don't know if you've seen Abib and I interact on Twitter a couple of times. I can, send
yes,
his
I only
handle.
see, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, Abib, I reached out to Abib. I'm doing this campaign. I want you to handle the, influencer bits. I will give you the whole brief and everything that needs to be done. And that was how we did, the NFF campaign. From there,
Campaign.
I moved into an educational technology startup. It was amazing. I kind of miss it anyway, but I'm a jackal. Or I so much like work that to a point that I got bored and I was like, you people are not challenging me enough. It's not challenging. And I moved
Stop pushing.
to another agency where I now, handled Durex, Morton and Apic. Durex campaign. I did a campaign with Toke Makinwa. I did a,
Wow.
Durex campaign, World Cup campaign, Moments of Passion, launched that campaign. Did a couple of campaigns for Morton with
Wow.
Shaw and the likes. And I I can spend the whole day talking about, what
Conquer
I've
the
done in
world.
my career,
Conquer
and
the world of marketing.
it has just been an amazing journey. And right now I think I'm looking forward to so much to do between now and
You,
next year. I want to do a lot, and which is also why I said, you know what, I think it's time for me to do my MBA, just to understand, other dynamics of how business, entrepreneurship and the
oh,
likes works.
wow.
And that's what I'm currently doing right now. And right now, I also want
Interesting.
to build my personal, agency that caters to, businesses and brands. I've done for a couple of brands outside, Nigeria, fashion most especially. And I think I'll use this year to, do my MBA and also build orbits. That's what I'm building right now.
Interesting, Mr. Femi. Like, you've conquered the world of marketing from
I've
FMCG to
I've
e-commerce to
not.
events.
I'm still learning.
I want to be like you when I grow up. Oh.
I'm still
Honestly,
learning.
this is interesting. Okay, from your experience, will you say marketing is an art or science? Will you say
I
it is
think
art
it's
or science?
it's a combination of both.
Mm.
Because one thing I've learned over the years is the art or the artistic part of marketing is when you create, ideas, or you generate ideas. But the science part of marketing is when you leverage, data that gives you insight to then create that artistic process that you want to create. Marketing is all about, communicating to your target audience and ensuring that they get it, and they at some point resonate with your campaign, resonate with your ad, want to be a part of the brand, and which leads to them, at some point taking an action. Yeah. And
Mhm.
before you can do all that, you need science, which is the part of data, analysis, research, strategy, to then build or to then create what your target audience would resonate with. So it's a combination of both. But in my industry, I work in an agency.
Mhm.
The people like the creative guys, the copy guys, they see it more as an art, as a craft for them. But if you are like a generalist like I am, digital strategy, copy and everything like that, you don't see it from one perspective. You see it from
Yeah.
uh, diverse perspective. So I think it's a combination of science and art. Yeah.
And then I think the science part is the usage of tools.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The usage of tools, all those tools you use to, do everything that you are doing around marketing to understand consumer behavior and, research and analysis. Yeah, that's science for in marketing.
Mhm. I started learning marketing when I with learning consumer behavior, to be specific. That's the first
Okay.
course I took when somebody says, when I had to venture into marketing, consumer behavior. And I think my success so far in marketing comes from the fact that I understood that course very well. And I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, most times I always come to me for market, I will just tell them that you don't actually learn digital marketing. You just learn
Mm-hmm.
the pillars of marketing, consumer behaviors,
Exactly.
and all of those things. I don't know if you have seen, if you can talk about consumer behavior. Is it same across broad? Like, is it same in your FMCG career? Like, when you are marketing events, when you are doing fashions campaign,
Okay.
what's the connection there?
There are literally different touch points, or there are different triggers that
Okay.
influences consumer behavior, literally. But whenever we are doing research for consumer behavior, it's not necessarily doesn't really have to do with maybe their behavioral patterns on digital. You also want
But the
to
triggers.
yeah, you ought to understand their mental space, how they think, how they react to certain things. Recently, last week, I was pitching for a brand, and the insight we were getting from normal online research and everything giving the team what we
Mm,
really needed. And then we said, okay, let's do a focus group. Let's call these people that we are targeting. We were targeting the Gen Zs. We understand that behavioral pattern. We know where they are. We know what they are doing online. We have all that insights. But we want to know
mhm,
if they connect with this brand, or what they really see about this brand. You can't There are some insights, or there are some consumer patterns, there are some behaviors that you cannot see online unless a research is carried out, or there's an interaction between a researcher and a consumer.
consumer.
Or you understand? So we had to sit them down. Oh, what do you think about this brand? Oh, this is what I say. The funniest thing, we were
Mm,
doing a campaign that had to do with something around living limitlessly, and be yourself, be true
okay.
to yourself, and whatever, everything we were seeing online was aspirational, was, oh, I want to
Yeah.
achieve this in life, this is what it means for me to live limitlessly, and the likes. And when we created that focus group and said, okay, let's talk to these people, what we found out? Someone said living limitlessly to him is when he plays his game and he can literally defeat his friends. And in my mind, I was like, don't you have vision? I literally asked the guy, don't you have vision in life? When he spoke about his
Mhm.
vision, I felt like, okay, this guy has vision. This guy knows what he's talking about. But at that
Yeah.
particular point in time, he's not seeing limitless living based on, achieving those goals. So the
Yeah.
way consumers think, you, even though I'm a huge fan of doing everything on digital, literally, yeah, I'm still a huge fan of getting your hands dirty, going to these guys, interacting with them to know how they behave, how they interact, and what you need to do that will literally cause a trigger. I'll take for example the Hollandia campaign that sparked so much conversation online. Some, I think
Right.
it's like a year or 2 years ago. I think it's like a year ago, where Hollandia rebranded, and people said online, no, this is ugly. The first thing I
This is
said
ugly.
was, you don't know the research that has been put into place for these guys to come to this conclusion. The funniest thing
Yeah.
is, after the whole rebrand, 6 months later, these people declared that they made so much sales. They even tripled the sales that they were thinking they were going to make with that singular rebrand. The only problem they had? People saw Hollandia, and if you've not bought the brand before, they didn't see it as a drinking yogurt, or there's this name they call it in FMCG. I've
Mm.
forgotten the name. Products like that, they call it one particular, all these drinking yogurt, I think they call it one particular name like that in FMCG sector. People didn't see it like that. Only the folks that have interacted with the brand, that have tasted the brand, that see it that way. And they had, I think, Farm Fresh, who is even more expensive, and people are buying that product, and the
Very
design
fast.
was very, very, very minimal. They needed to win on shelf. It was not about aesthetics at this point. It was not about showing the milk at this point. What they needed was a shelf elevation, that whenever you go into a supermarket and you see 20 of the Hollandia product on that shelf, is attractive. It looks bold. It looks, really cool for you to want to buy. And that was the only problem that insight solved. And you know what? They did a research that had to do with, going to shelf and everything. 6 months later, after they showed their books, declared the profit they've made, I know that they fixed a couple of pipelines and channels that had to do with distributions and the likes. But if over the years that I've worked with FMCG, even if you fix your distribution and people are not buying on shelf, you will be stuck. And what it means is, the set of the partners or the distributors that you are partnering with will not buy more from you to go and
Yeah.
restock on their to go and stock on their shelf. It literally means the only reason your distribution channel was really, really working was because people were buying on shelf. And that was what
You're
led
taking it
to,
up to share.
yeah, and that was what led to the growth of the brand. And they are doing amazingly well. And you look at, they even replicated what they did across some other brands, and that's why maybe you go to a Boku mart and everything, and um you see every cheap product, it stands out. It looks more
Yeah.
beautiful on shelf, and that's what insights can give to you. You understand? That's what research can give to you. If you are just stuck with maybe digital, research alone, you can just realize that, oh, maybe they are not drinking because of price points, which is also valid. You understand? Which is
Yeah.
also valid,
Yeah,
but you
just
wouldn't
your
have
own assumption.
that's just an assumption. You wouldn't have gotten the whole insights that you need, to create something amazing. And that's the good thing about marketing. And that's where science also comes into play. Art and science,
Okay.
bringing the two together to create something magical.
Beautiful stuff, Mr. Femi. Honestly, I really would love to do a lot of things in the FMCG space. I think I find it very, very interesting. I've been in e-commerce, right?
Yeah.
Selling FS, selling food and all, but I really would like to do some things in that line, because I feel it is very, very, very taxing for you to do a campaign on something like
Mm-hmm.
close up, and
Mm-hmm.
close up will record increase in sale. I just feel it's very, very taxing, because you are talking to a
Yes.
lot of people, and you have to find something, maybe write a copy, do a design that the students will see, the students will be triggered,
Mm-hmm.
a pregnant
Mm-hmm.
woman will see, the person will be
Mm-hmm.
triggered, somebody, a girlfriend, boyfriend, everybody will
Everybody
go
will
there.
see it.
They'll go to the shelf and they'll find that Hollandia very interesting. It's just a lot of millennials, Gen Z, boomers. You want to do
Mm-hmm.
something that will speak to all of these people. I find it very fascinating when I see brands do those kind of campaign. The recent Colgate campaign that I'm looking at, I don't find myself criticizing any campaign that I see around the FMCG space. I don't criticize
Mhm.
any.
Mhm.
Because I always
Mhm.
tell myself, because these people are doing a lot of work, communicating with everybody. No, it's not like
Mhm.
a SaaS product now that you want to communicate with a tech junkie. You are not
Mhm.
doing
Yeah,
that. You're
exactly.
communicating with literate, illiterate, that's mama in the market, that
Mhm.
that PhD holder. All of these people, they'll see that message. No, I really respect you guys that are doing those kind of thing. Which take me
Uh,
to this part of being a generalist and a specialist. Can a specialist function in FMCG?
Yes, there are a whole lot of specialists in the FMCG sector, and it will bring me to there are some set of marketing managers that you work with that you realize that even though they work in the FMCG sector, they really don't want to work with, let's say, for a blue brand. But this
Okay.
same marketing manager understands everything that is needed to take trophy from 0 to 100. So even in the FMCG sector, there are certain set of people that understand different markets better than each other. I worked with my former creative director, yeah, my ex creative director is so vast in the alcohol space. At some point, I had to say, and it was one of the major reasons why I said, you know what, I've worked on so many alcohol. I beg, I won't come out this agency. You don't tire. I worked on, I worked on, I worked on Euro. I worked on Euro Lager beer. I worked on Wild Turkey. I worked on Seaman Schnapps. I worked on Isiagu. I worked on even at, in my.
Even Motipa.
You understand? I worked on Bombay. And I was like, come to think of it, this is a whole lot of alcohol brands in my portfolio. What it literally means is he understood that market. He could from zero, he could take from nothing, he could take an alcohol brand to something. When we started working on Euro came with so much, oh, we are losing market share to life. This is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. We did the first thing we had to do was, we even traveled to Enugu to go and interact with these people just to understand what they want and how we want to communicate with them. And that insight led us to understanding that even the Easterners, they feel like Hero Lager beer is a beer for the older generation. The younger ones they were not connecting with the brand. And what did we do? That was an insight. Normally what we were seeing online was, price points. It was not so detailed, it's not grassroots. You didn't get your hands dirty. And that was how whatever we created, we were able to create, the Urudia campaign. The Urudia campaign led to the Sunrises for You campaign, which is currently, ongoing. The Urudia campaign had to go so deep into the points that we had to even tap into music. We did a boot camp where we brought Ilbliss, Rude Boy, Ace Tune, Spakuti, Jerick, all those Eastern guys, we had to bring them together, boot camp, 2 weeks, and they delivered an album which is called the Worldy album. And that album was what we also used to sell the brand to them. They understood it. Euro market share increased. Euro then said, oh, our market share has increased beyond what it used to be like 5 years ago. You know what? We are giving you a tax to come up with another campaign that can, and that was how we gave birth to the Sunrises for You campaign. And the Sunrises for You was more about, okay, Urudia was more about there's real worth in you, regardless of who you are, regardless of your age, regardless of your demographic. There's something great in you when you drink the Euro Lager beer brand. And after that, the sun rises for you was now there's something great in you, but this time it's time for you to shine. You
Yeah.
understand? One way or the other, we were looking for ways to empower, these guys, and that's how we've been telling the story. And I've seen this, even though Hero Lagabia is predominantly in the eastern part, we are
Part.
also deploying in Lagos. You understand? To recruit the guys, the Igbo guys that are in Lagos, just to ensure that ah,
The
kowo
connect.
pe ni now. You understand? They connect with
Let them sell everywhere. Sell out.
sell out. And beer is expensive now. You get it. It's not like before that people buy beer for 2000. Now,
Sell.
if people want to drink beer, they would think twice before drinking 20 bottles the way they drink
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
And they want to
So
take the best.
You understand? So how do you now compete? How do you want to be the best? And that's literally what we did. Another brand that did something so amazing was Heineken. Even and that's why sometimes
Work with
the
Heineken?
yes, no, I didn't work with Heineken. They did something amazing that I kind of liked
He
some
asked
years
me
ago.
to.
It was the chairman campaign. God, that campaign, there was I don't think any beer brand can do any campaign right now that would be better than what they did with chairman campaign, because that chairman campaign literally just still solidified their presence as the best beer brand that you can literally take in Nigeria. And that's insight. It's so simple. Imagine someone say, I want to do a campaign called chairman. You think it's stupid, but
Yes.
you don't know the insights and the stories that
Insights, the
got them,
psychology.
yeah, to where they are. So
Which
that
you
so
try
in
a
in
logo. Like that's why I hardly criticize any campaign I see. Maybe I did that
and
when I
to,
was new in marketing. But these days I don't.
no,
I
no,
just feel
there
like
are
I'm
some
not inside. I don't know what they see.
there are some campaigns that I see sometimes that I feel like it's not that good, but I feel like okay, maybe because I don't know what they are trying to achieve. Yeah, let me just let me just
Yes.
let me just let it go. And to be honest, and it brings me back to the question you asked, where you are saying generally specialists. Some set of
Especially.
marketers in even our industry, they can work on telecommunications at even if they are closing their eyes. But if you give them close up, they will flop. Some set of people
Correct.
can work on rice brand, but if you give them maybe Maggie brand, Maggie is even similar, but if you give them something like maybe a peak milk or something, they can struggle. You understand the storytelling, the psychology, the behavior, how people buy, what makes people buy, the triggers that make people buy is literally different. You understand?
And then
So
once you are
how then
lulled into one industry like that, you just understand the industry.
you understand the industry, and it becomes I've worked with someone that all his life he has only worked in on alcohol brands, and if you tell the guy go and sell Coca-Cola, he will tell you, yeah, I can sell Coca-Cola because it's a drink. But if you give him go and sell Orabi, Busuyi will tell you, Omo, I can't sell Orabi oh." What do you want me to get? I've been
It's
working
still
on Guinness.
marketing, but it's
It's still
different.
marketing, but it's different. And so in the industry, yeah, they are generalists, people that cuts across, different, products and everything. And they're still general, they are specialists, people that are focused on one specific industry because they understand that industry, they understand how to
Okay.
communicate with people, they understand the consumer behavior. They've been doing it for over 10 years and they've not done anything else. So they are
Interesting.
core specialists when it comes to alcohol brand. They
Our
are
industry.
core specialists when it comes to different FMCG brands. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Femi. One of the things I want to go to was what you said you traveled to Enugu, spoke
Yeah.
with these guys, try to understand them. Let's come to tech. How do you do that when it comes to tech?
So
Said
so
it
the
sounds
thing
good.
so the thing with tech industry is that I think people that are working with SaaS product marketers, or
Yes,
product marketers, the way they like to call themselves,
yes.
they've understood how to get insights, and they've understood the problem. So now this is how think they approach it, or this is how I know that they approach it, because I have a couple of them as friends. The first thing they try to do is, you want to solve a problem, my product solves a problem. Yeah, who needs my product? If I can decipher who needs my product, then I can, how do I then target the set of people that needs this product? How do I communicate with them? Even though that I've known that these are the set of people that needs my product, who are the competitors in the market? What are they doing? What can I do differently? You understand? Is quite is the I don't want to say it's simpler, because if you
Mm.
say it's simpler, people come and say, oh, but it's not simpler, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
And
education only.
you understand? But it's the process of selling SaaS products is,
Mm.
or the process of marketing a SaaS product is really, I think, to be honest, I think is dynamic and is simpler. For example,
It's more direct.
yeah, yes, it's very, very direct. Let me go, for example, Senoa. They did one campaign recently. I don't know if you saw it. that they did the campaign based on price points, and it was price points, and they said, oh, if you bank with Gray, it is maybe you lose 60,000. If you,
Um,
to be honest, if you try it in FMCG, you will realize that there's one bastard somewhere that can go 7 times lower than you are going, because, to be honest, and that's why so many FMCG brands don't
they
always
don't play price.
play they don't play price game, because literally price is very, very, you think you are cheap, there's someone that's way cheaper than you
They
are,
can
and there's,
literally sell that brand at a loss and sell out
yes,
their other brand at a profit so that they can ruin
at a
you.
profit. Exactly. So is with SaaS products, you can just be direct. And the thing with SaaS products is, the good thing with SaaS products is, for everybody, there's this thing that's called the large market triangle. People are in different phases of their lives, and at that different phase of their life, they are trying to take, different actions. So the is the same way we have consumer journey awareness, considerations, sustenance, and whatever in, normal FMCG communication and marketing. Is the large market triangle is literally for them. 60% of your audience don't even know that they need your product, so they are
Mm.
not problem aware. So by the time they realize that they need your product, a minimal of them, whenever they need their product, the next thing they are trying to do is they are trying to do research, and the research they are trying to do has to do with price, has to do with, okay, which one is more flexible, which one has a very good UI, which one doesn't have a very good UI, which one is, visible. And that's why you
Mm.
see SaaS marketers, and one thing they do that works really for them is, for example, you go online, social media, kiniko to monitor analytics, everything. You see an article from HubSpot. HubSpot will tell you, oh, 10 tools that can help you scale your social media marketing. Number one, HubSpot.
Yes.
This is what HubSpot has,
Hotspot.
that has this, has this. It can do this, it can do this. They will sell their brand very well. The rest, they will mention, media too is not complete. Even though you can do this, something is missing, because they are trying to sell theirs. The third one, they
Yeah.
go on and on and on. They double down, double down, double down to, to that point. And for SaaS product, the good thing is, everybody that is using, tech product, or that is using digital product, the first thing they want to do is to research. And to be honest, God has made it simpler with, with AI, with, I said God, technology has made it simpler with, with AI, with Google, with, there are so many research tools that you can literally use to get an idea first. And the truth is, you can test a product even before you make use of it. Go to FMCG. If you buy close up today, are you going to buy Orabi tomorrow? Are you not going to go and buy Sensodyne next tomorrow? Are you going to keep testing, keep testing, keep testing? So that means for SaaS Pro, for software, for FMCG brands, they need to tell you the exact benefits in their communication.
And grab
This is,
you.
and
Grab
grab
you
you. This is
immediately.
what you are expecting. This is what will happen, and that's why naming of brands in FMCG is, they are more intentional than than tech products. Even though I like so
Okay.
much software product,
Hmm.
and that's why
So the
you
name,
see,
the name also influences
yeah,
buying decision.
yes, it does. It influences buying decision. Imagine close up came and said close up. Literally, Oral B is intentional. Colgate is the name. By the time you research, if you research what gave birth to the name, is very, very intentional. Maltina, that's malt inner. Maybe malt in you. That's how I just Maltina, malt in you. That's what just came to my mind right now. And you see so many better malt. You see all those brands, Malta Guinness. You understand? They are very intentional, because you cannot say Sinoa, and you just leave it as Senoa, and you expect people will buy, because the first question they will ask you that, oh, it's not àtàrà tó wà lórí shelf yìí, kí ló wà nínú ẹ̀? And you know the
No
way
one
people
beg.
behave when they go to malls. And one buying or purchasing decision that I realized, that I learned working on FMCG brands, is that when people go to malls, they already have an idea of what they want to buy. They're not going in confused. They can see something that triggers them to say, oh, I like this packaging. What is here? But trust me, if you are going to a mall, you know what you want to go and buy. Any other thing you buy is added on. But you see that thing you want to go and buy, you are going to buy it. The only reason why you are not going to buy it is if they don't have that particular product and you buy a substitute.
That's
You understand? And that is why now imagine even FMCG. You go to a you go to ShopRite, for example, and there's a shelf just for malt brands, and there's better malt, and the way they arrange everything in in supermarkets and the likes, yeah, is they arrange things according to their category. Hollandia is beside Farm Fresh is beside this is everybody is competing on the same
push
spot.
everybody.
So imagine if your consumer doesn't go into doesn't go into the mall or doesn't go into the supermarket with an idea of what they want to buy. I'll give you a gist. I worked on Seaman Shinaps. I worked on Seaman
Okay.
Shinaps for 2 years.
Yeah.
So we
Wow.
have Seaman Shinaps as like a major competitor in the Shinaps market, which is Eagle Shinaps. Eagle Synapse
Eagle,
is
yeah.
owned by yes, Eagle Synapse is owned by IDL. IDL realized that we cannot win the Synapse battle with Siemens. What can we do? They created Commodore. Commodore is under Eagle, and Commodore came with almost the same design as the Siemens Synapse was bottle
Also,
and the packaging itself. So if they put Siemens and Commodore beside each other, you can know the difference. Siemens had to go into process, rebrand, repackage just to stand different. Look at the ghetto Siemens. I know people, even though I stopped working with them, I know that a couple of them will be like, you know what, Ejeka no is a knockout brand. Let's reduce the price and let's place it beside Eagle, which is going to look like that's how the FMCG works. And that's why you
it's
realize
crazy.
that Peak
And
Make will
the process of rebranding is hard though.
It's very, very hard. And that's why you realize that Pilk Milk as a brand owns Milksy, or let me even Promasidor that owns I worked with Promasidor Cowbell Chocolate at some point.
Yeah.
And I worked on Twisco. Twisco was like a pitch, even though they did not give me that account. It was still an amazing job. You know, the day I went into their office, that was the day I knew it was Promasidor that owned Twisco. Promasidor will do cowbell chocolate, it will do Twisco, it will do Milksy, it will do cowbell itself, it will do and Promasidor has over 10 products as a portfolio in the same market fighting for the same space. So that means if you say, oh, me you like cowbell, me like Miski, it's still Promasidor you are buying. Oh, me you like cowbell
You are
chocolate, me
there with
like Twisco, it's still cowbell chocolate. And why are they doing it? Because they want to compete. They know that they cannot win the market with just one product. So
one
you have
single
to
product. Hmm.
Yes, you have to diversify. In SaaS products, I can have bumper can just be bumper, and bumper has a niche, and the only brands bumper is competing with, or the only startup brands bumper is competing with, will not be more than five. In the FMCG space, it's not like that. It's dog eat dog industry. It's crazy. You have to communicate with social media and see tech junkies and people who use tech products. They are literally
Yeah.
on social media, so you want, even though everybody is fighting for everybody's attention, yeah, but one thing about people that use digital products is that I've realized is that once people are satisfied with your service, if I am satisfied with bumper, if bumper doesn't give me a reason why I should not use them, trust me, I won't stop using them. And that's the psychology of people online. Even though they have even though they have access to so many
Shopify.
other products, you understand,
Yeah.
they don't want to leave. And
Migrate, they always they
migration
don't
is
migrate
stressful,
just
to be honest. Yeah, nobody
yes.
migrates. Like migration is always stressful, and that's why you have to keep them in your pipeline. You have to maybe sometimes give them discounts, give them certain offers, give them the FMCG. If you like, do 30% discount. If you do not do
How do
TV
you
ad,
okay, how do
if you
you
not
now
communicate, nobody will see it.
how do you now calculate ROI on your campaign in FMCG this way? This thing you are explaining is rowdy, it's kind of chaotic. So when you do a campaign now, How do you calculate return on ad spend? How do you
So
see
so
that there's a return?
So the way you calculate, return on ad spend and all those things, it's not number one. When you launch a campaign, the first thing we do is we look at where the brand is at this point in time before that campaign was launched. We want to do a campaign for 6 months, or we want to do a 2 years campaign, or a 3 year campaign, or a campaign that will span us, a number of years, even though we are going to break it and come. We look at where the brand is. So where the brand is at every touch point and consumer perception. So what most FMCG brands, or they have a research team in-house that
Okay.
goes to the market when the campaign has launched, when the campaign is live, when people can literally see their TVC, you can listen to their radio. They then do that research on how people perceive their brand. So they are not looking at CPM. No,
Mm.
you understand, they are not looking at CPM, they are not looking at CTR and all those things. What they are looking at is consumer perception and how is it leading to sales. If your sales increases, if people have a good perception about your brand, they can say, okay, sales has not coming, but perception is increasing. How then can we loud this campaign and ensure that it is going to deliver sales? And FMCG, the good thing about FMCG is any successful FMCG needs to fix its distribution pipeline. Once your distribution pipeline is good and there's a good perception about your brand in the public, trust me, you will win in the market.
Okay. Distribution pipeline.
Yes.
One of the things I would just like to learn is it the consumers that influence the distributors, or is the distributor that influence the consumer? That is it what for example now, did the consumer buy what the distributor brings? If I'm in the Shinap and Eagle, for
Hmm.
example, is it the
Hmm.
consumers that tells the distributor that, okay, see, distribute Siemens, don't distribute Eagle? Or is the distributor that will just supply whatever is in the market and they will go with it?
So it's a dog eats dog industry. Whoever can, whoever, I'm not meant to say this, but whoever can give the distributor the best deal is who did. See, distributors they are devilish. Distributor
Hmm.
can
I want
they
to see
can
how their importance in that chain.
their importance. You see, if you like, do campaign 100, smooth campaign. Your campaign is very impactful. People love it everywhere. People are talking about. If you don't fix distributor pipeline, you are not winning, because literally the distributor is who will say, ah, mommy Sulia, ẹ má ra igu lẹ́ni o, igu ò ní tà o, Siemens ló ń tà lọ́wọ́ o, ẹ ra Siemens o, ah, Siemens ló ń tà. Mommy Sulia wants to sell, right? Mommy Sulia wants to make money. She wants to stock, so she will buy Siemens, buy a lot, stock it. Ah, mummy Sulia, ẹ má ra ọ̀rá bí ò ní tà o. Tàbí you understand? Ah, mummy Sulia, ah, Eagle fẹ́ gbowó sí, ẹ má ra, ẹ má stock, wọ́n fẹ́ gbowó sí, Siemens ní kẹ́ rà, àwọn ti drop price. Imagine that kind of. So it's a dog eat dog industry. So distributors, so whenever you launch or you do a rebrand or you are doing a campaign, one thing we usually do is you call all your distributors, you bring them together, and you tell them the vision of the brand, the goal, and where you want to take the brand to. The first question they will ask you is, how, even if I push your brand, how do I profit from it? And that's why
Mm.
distributors, they have so much discount, they have so much percentages. If and distributor will tell you, pé, distributors are very smart. They know brands that have money to invest in marketing. They know brands that have a lot of money that people would literally see on TV, see on radio, or listen to on radio, see their ads on billboard and everything. So once they realize that you are doing a campaign and you have so much money to spend, they come to you and, won't ṣe campaign lọ́wọ́,
Owó wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀.
owó wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, give me your product, I will help you distribute it to the right, to the right channel. So the same way you have your, maybe your Meta, your Google that is helping you, place your ad to your certain distributors. They are very important in the pipeline. Very, very
Thank you
important.
very much. Thank you so much, Mr. Fem. It's been an awesome time discussing with you. I've enjoyed myself, learning a lot. If you are doing product marketing, don't go and bear enter FMCG. It's
It's
crazy.
different. Oh, it's different. Watch,
It's not
watch when you go. Well, how come
It's
as
not
you
click
go
to rate. Oh. It's not click to rate that they are calculating here. Oh.
at all, at all? They are not calculating all those also.
It's not open rate. Brother.
At all, at all, at all.
Okay. Let's talk about. I actually would like to talk about masculinity, young men, and all of these things because that's something that is very important to me. I believe the young men are kind of abandoned. They are allowed to learn themselves, so to speak.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's just the template. You a girl visits you in the street, came to your house, and you step out, and the Egba Adubo is asking you that did something happen? And if nothing happened, they'll be like, oh, Daniel, you're not a sharp guy. And that would reinforce you that okay, if a female is visiting me, I have to do something. Then it leads to
Mm-hmm.
something bad and also. So I believe the boy child picks up the wrong education from the street, picks up the wrong education from
Education, yeah.
the from boarding house, from the streets, from friends, from online, and all of these things. So I believe I majorly use my podcast to re-educate the young men and so to speak. So people like you, I always ask you, what mistake do you see young men are making? What do you think a 20-year-old, 25-year-old, 27-year-old, 20 plus young men, what do you think they should be doing right now? What are those things you think you did wrong then that you wouldn't like somebody to do?
So I think from my own end, I grew up in a very in a very volatile area, and
Mm,
at some point we also wanted to be on the streets. We
yeah.
wanted to mingle with the boys. We wanted people to see us as cool. So the first thing is that I usually tell any young man that I kind of meet is you don't need to be cool as long as you are yourself, as long as you are you. You don't need to be cool. You don't need the validation of other people, or you don't need the public perception that says, oh, you are cool for smoking, you are cool for drinking. I'm not saying maybe it's wrong if someone does it, you understand, but I'm saying, but if that's what the society sees it as, you necessarily don't need to be that person before you say you are cool.
You're
I Cultism, when you mention cultism, I my where I lived was not far from Pulibadon, and
cool.
cultism when Pulibadon is not Pulibadon anymore. When Pulibadon was Pulibadon, it was like weekly deaths that we see, boys fighting, gunshots, and everything, and all those experiences. Even to a point that when I was going to school, I told myself that I will do everything in school. I will go to party. I'll go. You see that cultism, I will never,
Mm,
because it just didn't make sense. And does it mean that I did not have relationship with people that went that route?
that
Like I
could have
said, I grew up in
influenced
that area
you to do
that
it.
could have influenced me. Yes, I did grow. I met some of them in the university, some even in my secondary school. They used to call me junior then. And, someone that plays football, that I'm always hiding to go and play football and all those things, taking me to competitions and the likes. I interacted with them, but I didn't pick the cultism from them. Maybe I needed to learn one or two street OTs to survive, trying to say I want to play football and the likes. Yeah. But aside that, I just learned to stay in the house, interact with people, and understand that whatever you are doing, I don't have to do it. I have to be myself, and I don't want to. I don't have to necessarily to be like you to be cool. You understand? So it's more of a personal decision. I once had someone that I worked with that said, "Oh, when I intern, oh, when I'm done with my school, I want to lock my head the way you lock your and keep me." I said, no. I said, don't see it because Femi is doing it. I said, you are keeping a low cut. If this is the low cut is who you are, just keep the low cut. I didn't start growing my locks because I saw it on someone and I liked it. No, I started growing my locks because I wanted to. It's more like, I think this thing is going to look good on me. It has nothing to do with, oh, because someone. And I, even despite the fact that I've worked in so many, this industry where we say people act like mad people, there are so many people with dreadlocks and the likes. I never worked with one until 2 years ago. Every person that I worked with, They were all clean cut, and I was the only one with the dreadlocks. You understand? So you don't have to conform to the society to really look cool. Just be yourself. I I grew up myself. I'm moving like a testimony, the same way you mentioned. My
Yeah.
father, I realized that my father would call some of these guys, bring them to the house, educate them, lecture them. And for once, my father did not tell me, Femi, join don't join court when you get to school. I saw it firsthand. I knew what the experience was like, and I just did not want it to be with me. And
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted a peaceful life for myself, and that was the route that I followed. Another problem that we have, which is more like a societal problem right now, is the culture of internet fraud. God is bad. These days, young men don't even want to grind. They don't want to work. The next thing is they want to drive a Benz. I'm not saying driving a Benz is bad. I'm not saying having a car as a young lad is bad. And it's not even. It's more about I want to sleep in an hotel. I want to do this. I can vividly remember that the first set of hotels I slept in, it was work and maybe I traveled. You
So
understand?
cute. Mm.
That like literally made me sleep in hotels. It was not something I just wanted to wake up today, leave my house and go and sleep in the you understand, go and sleep in the hotels. But I'm seeing like it's a culture for the young lads. And in my own capacity to sometimes I try to talk to them, especially folks that have one-on-one relationships with me, and see how we can even on my streets here. I have a couple of boys that sometimes I talk to
Mm.
them. Oh, focus for juicy school. Focus. Don't
Yes.
kegbe. Don't do this. Don't do that. Oh, Uncle Femi, I don't have money to eat. I have to go and sell this for mommy to. If I give them money, but I still tell them that where you are, don't see yourself or don't be comfortable with where you are right now. There's one that I know I interact sometimes when I go to a closed shopping mall, and I see a whole lot of boys outside begging for money to smoke weed and the likes. So I saw this guy that I kind of knew on my street, and I called him. What I did, he said, does he have money to eat? I said, okay, take this money, leave this place. So I realized that it's not a pattern for him to be there. So it's more like maybe when he doesn't have options, he has to go there to beg to eat. At any time I find him there, I'll be like, oh, the last time I spoke to him, I said, okay, what are you doing when I saw him there? He said, oh, I'm learning carpentry now. I said, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
If you put in your effort
The
into carpentry,
craft. The
into the craft,
craft.
what makes you think you cannot even be richer than some of us that say we went to school? You can't be richer. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's more about letting people see the value in what they can do with their hands, the craft, and the whole success story that comes with it. I think over the years we've told too many stories without telling the younger generation the process that is involved in that success story. People just seek success story and run with success story without really saying this is what I did to get to where I am. So it has actually influenced that competition and lazy culture of everybody trying to look for money even the wrong way without doing it rightly.
Thank you, Mr. Femi. I really appreciate what you just said, and I hope the young men listening to this will take that. Learn a craft, learn a skill. Let's make sure you are
Mhm,
known for something. When they mention your name, like let something follow you. They mention your name, Dio, okay, carpentry,
mhm,
this,
mhm.
marketing. Let your name be attached to something. Learn a craft, a skill. Everybody that I know that are scaling, that are rich today, they started from knowing how to do something. Then they learn another
Mhm,
one, then another one, then
mhm.
another one. So you can't just make money without knowing how to do something. So knowing how
Yes.
to commit crime is not one of them, sha. One of them.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly.
let's talk about books. What
Okay.
are the books you have read? What are the books you have read that you recommend for people to read?
Okay. For leadership, I think when I took up a leadership role in the office, the first book I read was Seven Laws of Leadership. I
Okay.
read Seven Laws of Leadership. For marketing, I've read This is Marketing. I think
Mm,
Seth Godin.
yeah.
Um, I've read the HBR. There's one book. I think I have the book. Let me see if I can remember the title.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of books. So
Yeah,
I
I
know
know. I
this
just wanted to speak on the ones that are
this
I know it's very
most of
part.
the books that have actually impacted me has to do with marketing. Yeah, so
Mm,
I've read a whole lot of marketing books. I just started, since I'm taking up leadership roles at work and everything.
yeah.
That's why I'm trying to, do more books on leadership,
Yeah.
and even that's actually what made me, come into say I want to do my MBA. But if anybody is like one thing I can do is I can share titles of a lot of I'll look into my archive, all the books that I've read that has to do with marketing designs and the
Mm.
likes, and I'll share with you via DMs. You can also
All right.
put on your page, and
Put it on the caption.
yeah. You can put it on the caption, and we'll see from there. And
Okay.
everybody who wants to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be a business owner, one person you can always learn from. For me, one person that I've listened to, and I think people can also learn from, is Shim Shagaya, the guy
Mm.
that owns You Lesson. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Miva,
that guy.
Miva.
Miva University, yeah, that's it. That's like a seasoned entrepreneur. He knows his stuff. You need to listen to Shim Shagaya. You need to read some of his articles. You need to read or be involved in how he does this. His
This is
process.
a podcast.
Yeah.
Awesome, Mr. Femi. Thank you. Then the last part of the show, I always try to keep it on that one. Is I always ask you this or that question.
Oh, okay.
You just pick one of it and then you don't think about it. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Radio advertisement or TV ads?
Both. Sha. Can I choose both?
All right. We allow you to choose both.
Okay, let me choose both in that one. Let me choose both there.
Books or podcast?
Books, actually.
iPhone or Android?
Android.
FMCG or SaaS?
FMCG. There's
Marketing
money
or
in
sales?
FMCG. Marketing or sales? Marketing, I beg. I know they do sales.
Moses or Jobs in the Bible?
Moses or Jobs?
Yeah.
I would rather be. I hate Jobs. Why you down? I would rather be like Moses.
Eba or Amala?
I don't eat eba at all, so no, not eba. Amala is fine.
Okay. Egusi or okra?
Egusi,
Where I go to the UK or US?
tough. I don't like both.
Okay. Thank you. That's the end of the this or that question.
Yeah, thank
Wow.
you so much. Thank you for
I,
having me.
it's been awesome. What will you leave us with? Yeah. What will you leave us with? Anything?
Whatever you want to do in life, wherever you want to be, it starts with a step. And the moment you take that step, you're taking that step towards greatness. Nothing can change it. Literally, I'm a testimony, and I know that there are several people that are also, that also took that step, to be where they want to be or where they are. So you just need to take that step. The moment you take that step, you are destined for greatness.
That's it. Take care, guys. You see you some other time.
Yeah, thank